I'm really excited here to be joined today with Kristen Ricupero. Kristen has been doing a series of seminars with us, and we have our upcoming seminar called Break the Cycle of Breaking Even. And I will tell you, Kristen, I've seen a lot of catchy seminar titles. This has to be by far and away one of my favorite titles I've ever heard. So, Kristen, tell me a little bit about what this seminar is.
Yeah, so we are going to be talking a lot about cash flow. So many times with entrepreneurs and business owners, they understand profitability, they understand revenue, but they don't understand cash flow. And that's one of the biggest parts when it comes to how their businesses are generally cycling. So often we see our business owners that are making more money and then spending more money, or paying off all of their debt and then running up all their credit cards again. And so it's just these hamster cycles that they get stuck on, and we're going to be talking all about that.
So I know a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of small business owners out there are a lot of the times accidental business owners. You know, maybe I just know how to make a widget really well and I broke off from someone else. And so tell me what cash flow means to you, because I think a lot of people out there, they hear the word cash flow and it's a buzzword, right? Maybe their banker or somebody else told them like, hey, we're going to help you with your cash flows. But tell me a little bit more as an entrepreneur, what does cash flows actually mean?
Yeah, so we talk about it just like what it is. So cash flow and currency are named because of like the water, how the water moves currency, right? So cash flow is how money moves in and out of your business. So we are talking about what happens is that people are profitable, which is also a big buzzword, right? Everybody's like, oh, we can make you more profitable, right? But they are profitable, they're making money, they're doing really well, but they don't know where to spend their money, how to spend their money, what they should be saving for taxes. Should I buy the new office furniture? Should I be upgrading my suite? Should I be hiring people? They don't understand where that money needs to go to best suit their outcomes that they're looking to have.
Yeah, and it's funny when I talk to a lot of business owners and why I love this title, Breaking the Cycle of Breaking Even. So many people are saying, I started my business with the expectation that I would be able to enjoy life a little bit more and have more freedom of choice about when I work or how I work or the way I want to work. But then I end up hearing from these entrepreneurs that all of a sudden it's like this Frankenstein monster they've created where their business starts to control them. And every month they're just breaking even. They're paying themselves an income, and maybe the income's more. A lot of times it's less than what they were doing prior, but they just feel like they can't get ahead. So tell me, how does one break this cycle of breaking even? And how do you help entrepreneurs with that?
Yeah, and to your credit, I think a lot of people look for that freedom and they end up working 24/7, right? They end up escaping the 9 to 5 for 24/7 and can't get rid of it. So the biggest overarching thing that we're going to be talking about is systems. It's really about and entrepreneurs hate systems, Greg, right? Like that's the whole thing. Like they're creative spirits and they're free spirits and they want to go and they want to have that freedom, but we have to have systems within to allow us to have and experience that freedom. So it's really structured flexibility.
It's kind of that duality, like to save one's life, you must lose it first, right? To get freedom, you actually have to create systems. You know, one time I'm a coffee snob, and I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. I've had to learn that. I like great coffee. Now, don't get me wrong. I will go to a gas station and have coffee. I love all coffee, but I really enjoy great coffee. And so we were buying these beans, and we were French pressing them in the office. And when our team meetings, I tend to run late for our meetings, and so we have to wait 5 minutes for me to make the coffee. We'd have different team members that were more prompt and on time would start to make the coffee, get it going. And then every once in a while, I'd be like, whoa, this cup of coffee is great. You really did a great job of this. So finally, one of our team members at the time chimed up and they said, well, why don't you just make a checklist? And so that you make the coffee the same way every time. I said, there's actually a scale back there to measure the beans, and there is a checklist. The problem is we're all a bunch of people that won't follow the checklist. And like they couldn't wrap their head around that. But as an entrepreneur, a lot of times we get these lists, we put these systems in place, we don't follow them. So what is it about putting systems in place that you find these entrepreneurs can actually follow them?
Well, a lot of times when we're working with people or when it comes down to it, we want to create them to be simple, first and foremost. And one of the things that we're going to talk about is using more accounts. And why that sounds complex for a lot of people and overwhelming, the idea is that we're creating a lot of clarity around how much can I pay myself, so we're not draining the business and draining the cash flow and stealing from opportunity within to invest and grow your business? Or how much can I invest in my marketing? If you have a marketing account, it's going to be clear as not mud. We want to give that ultimate clarity so we can do that. So it really helps once they start seeing and understanding the processes. But a lot of times, people have had these breaking points of just, they're so good at what they do. Like you said, like they're good because they're great at making widgets, they're great at photography, they're great at advising, consulting, construction, whatever it is. But nobody gets into business to think that they also have to manage money, HR, advertising, marketing, all of those different pieces. And money is probably the most important thing, right, to make everything else go round. And it's the first thing that they just ultimately assume will just work out.
And that's what I love about the presentation I'm going to be doing. And one of my takeaways is the simplicity nature of it. I always say from financial planning, we're talking to our clients, I've learned there's two keys to success for financial planning over years from just observation. One is simplification, and the other one's automation. Again, simplification, automation. And what I've seen about your system is it really takes those two things. So going back to this coffee story, the reason why we weren't weighing out the beans, the scale was right there. There was a checklist, was because if we flipped the lid of the bean grinder up, there was kind of a line there that we figured out that's pretty much the 50 grams. Maybe sometimes it's 45, maybe sometimes it's 52, but we could get it there because it was easier. So I think as entrepreneurs, when you're in this mix, this rat race, you're just looking for the easy button. Like when you get home, the last thing you want to do is bookkeeping, right? And it's usually, most of us entrepreneurs wire like, there's a few things in life I'd rather do than bookkeeping. So one of the other things I understand is they don't have to do it alone, right? So tell me more about that. There's services out there like you that can actually help them with this and coach them on how to do the simplification?
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's really a place where we step in and we meld the area between the accountants, the bookkeepers, the financial advisors who are helping with all of the other 10 million things, but we help set up the systems. We help coach them through what are their real goals. Because also how you organize your money, what you want to do with your money will depend on your goals. And I think that, some of our conversations, like your goals of like where you enjoy investing in your business and how you want to grow your business, like how you anticipate and how you dream of seeing your business in 10, 20, 30 years will make a difference of should you be investing more in marketing and people, in HR, in all of those different things, and what paths you should be taking, because it's not going to look the same for everybody because your goals are different.
So when you were growing up, did 10-year-old Kristen say that what you want to do is help entrepreneurs break the cycle of breaking even?
Not at all.
So tell me, this seems like a strange thing for a lot of people to get into. What led you here? Why is this your passion?
It's definitely a long story, but in 2013, I had my own breaking moment financially. I have not always been good with money. I feel like I am called to teach people this because I have gone through my own journeys and because I failed at it myself, right? So 2013, I was working a standard W-2 job and I was making good money, but I had none left over. And I was deeply in debt, stressed out. So I went through my own things and really figured out how in personal finance, how to get myself out of the hole, how to manage my finances and all of that. And so when I decided that I wanted to start a business when my kids were born, I wanted to do something impactful. And this was the most impactful thing on my life because it affected my marriage now, my relationship then. It affected the way that I think, my mindset, my everything. I used to be an Eeyore. Like I was like wow, life sucks. This is horrible. This is hard.
It's not a tell. It's kind of attached.
Yeah. And it impacted so many places in my life. I wanted to help others. But when I started working with people, personal finance, a lot of times there was a business owner. And a lot of times it was the woman. And we were sitting across the table. We were meeting locally at that time at Panera. And we'd just be talking and be like, okay, person A, how much do you make? What's the cadence? Let's put this in the budget. And then the other person, I'd ask the same questions and they'd be like, well, I'm a business owner. I'm like, that's awesome. How much do you make? What's the cadence? What do you bring home? And I didn't understand at that time, so fresh in business myself, that not everybody didn't get this. And they were like, So often I would just hear, well, I pay what I can when I can. I take what I can when I can. Sometimes I'll pay groceries. Sometimes I'll make a car payment, but sometimes I can't bring home anything. But I run my own business. I'm like, that's awesome, but let's change this, right? So after enough of those, probably 3 or 4, that's when it hit me. Like, this is who I need to help. And that's it.
You know, some of that, growing up in a small business owner household, making the leap of faith to be in small business. I have a lot of PTSD as I hear you say that, because I found myself in those situations, right? Like my wife and I, we saved up our life savings. We put in this company, and we had to run a tight ship for the first couple of years until the company took off, and just going through that. And that's why I'm so excited to have you come here, because I work with small business owners a lot, and I hear the same thing over and over and over and over again. My business is successful, but I'm just living day to day. Or my business is successful, but I have no freedom of time, no freedom of money. And I just love the fact that you're out there to help these entrepreneurs. So if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm listening to this and I want to connect with you and learn more about what it is you have to do with entrepreneurs, how can somebody connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is financialfitnesscoaching.com. And then we are active on social media, mostly on Instagram is the place where we're active, share a lot of tips, what we're doing, even personally, just in our families, what it's like around family of business owners. You know, we have multiple businesses, and like you, I grew up in a family of business owners as well. So I didn't want to. I said, never in my life will I own one, but loving it at this stage.
It's funny how God has that sense of humor, because I never thought I would own a business and never wanted to. And then all of a sudden I'm here, and I can't imagine life without it.
Absolutely.
If you're an entrepreneur and you're ready to break the cycle, break it even, join us. Chris is going to be at our Bear Tongue Education Center for a seminar live on September 11th. It's Wednesday. It's also going to be streaming on Zoom. You can go to our website at Bear Tongue Advisors, go into events and sign up. And I implore you, if you're not breaking the cycle, break it even, join us, because you deserve better. Your spouse deserves better. Your children deserve better. And the people you serve, your team members and your clients or your patients or your customers, whoever it is that you serve, deserve better.